Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing sort of a death predictions video, going to be responding to a couple questions, death related, in who I think is going to be killed off of The Walking Dead Season 6's mid-season finale. Okay, so this question came from Jonathan G on YouTube, and he said, "Hey Trev, when are you going to do another death predictions video?" He says, "Thanks, and I love your vids." So thanks, John. I want to thank you for the support. This one's weird. Usually I do death predictions every season. Before the season starts, I do it second half and kind of who I think is going to be killed off in the half. And I usually do it for the finales, mid-season finale, that type of deal, because in The Walking Dead, we've had some big mid-season finales. We had Too Far Gone. I mean, well, Coda was pretty big, at least Beth fans thought that was a huge one. And, Pretty Much Dead Already with Sophia, so that was big. So The Walking Dead does do a really good job with their mid-season finale. So that's why I usually like to do death predictions for mid-season finale. This season with Season 6, however, it isn't really predictions because there are certain things that are out there now at this point, unfortunately, which kind of ruin that for us and kind of take away from the suspense of it. If you're active online, you read the comments, you see what other people are saying. Maybe you check out spoilers for The Walking Dead online. The Spoiling the Dead fans on Facebook page is a great resource. They get their hands on all kinds of information that definitely lets you know ahead of time what you're going to be looking at. So as it kind of comes out, as it surfaces, and AMC has trouble keeping things under a lid. A lot of times stuff does get out. There's only a few I can think of, like what happened with Tyrese and maybe earlier on in the series that didn't get spoiled, such as what happened with Andrea. They were able to keep under wraps, but a lot of the stuff has gotten out, and it's gotten worse over the seasons. For example, now in Season 6, there's already a good amount of stuff for the mid-season mid-season finale that is out there. You can read it, you can find out. So if you want to know which characters are going to die or which characters are going to get injured, we've talked a bunch about Carl and whether or not we're going to see a comic book series moment from him. And again, you get the spoilers involved here. It's like, is it spoilers? Is it predictions? It's hard. The line is blurry now. It's hard to see, right? So with this one, it's tricky because there's certain characters, certain Alexandrians that are, it's basically been out there confirmed. I'm not going to mention names on who it is, that they're going to be killed off. So if I sit here and do a predictions and say, I think this character is going to get killed off and this one, I'm not really predicting. I'm just telling you what I've heard from the spoilers and who it sounds like is going to be killed off. So that's why it's hard for me to do one this time. I can't really. There's a few characters that I'm kind of fuzzy on, like I'm not sure, and I haven't heard any spoilers about. Some of which are, you have Deanna. She's a good question because I have not heard any spoilers that she's going to actually be killed off or not. But I think she's one character that could be up there that could be questionable. You've got Spencer, of course, as well, too, who some people think is already dead because you saw the blood there on the wall from episode 5 now. And, it could be zombie goo coming through, or it could be that dripping down if he killed himself, if he opted out. But we didn't hear a gunshot, did we, or anything like that at the end of the episode. So that would be a little strange. So I tend to think that that's not him. But maybe he could be killed off in the mid-season finale, somewhere around there. Lots of other Alexandrians are kind of unknowns. You have, of course, Rick is, he's having this relationship starting with Jesse, and you've got Ron, you've got Carl, and you've got the Cookie Monster in there, so you've got all that mixed in. You've got Carol, she's kind of tethered with him, Sam, the Cookie Monster, because he likes her, he likes her to make him cookies. He just loves cookies. So, some of them are spoiled. I'm not going to say which aren't. Ones I'm unclear on. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Sam. I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. So that'll be interesting to see whether or not he's going to survive. Let's see. You've got characters like Gabriel. I could see them killing him off. You've got the rest of the survivors, I think, for the most part, are safe. Instead of a death this season, it looks like we're going to see a character come back. A lot of people think Glenn is dead. They don't know about kind of the spoilers related to him that he is seen in filming later on in the season. So it's going to be the opposite. Instead of a character being killed, one of the survivors is going to come back from the dead, so to speak. And that should be fun to see. That should be exciting and surprise a lot of people. But from what I've seen so far, it doesn't sound like, I don't feel like any of our core survivors are actually going to be fully killed off. Injured, yeah. Fully killed off, no. At least, unless you count some of the newer ones like Gabriel and maybe Tara and stuff like that. And I'm not sure what they're doing with Tara. I have no idea. If she's going to be a long-term survivor or they're going to kill her off. You've got Denise in there too, who's very useful, and you'd think they'd want to protect because she, of course, is their only doctor right now. They've actually been giving her more time than I thought they were going to, which could allude to her being safer, I think, in her case, because they do kind of need a doctor. It's very useful to have one for the story, and if certain things happen to characters get injured, they're going to go see her. Tara is kind of involved with her, so, you know, that can help support her, so maybe Tara's safe for that. So I'm not predicting a whole lot of character deaths for this one that aren't already spoiled out there, and I won't go over who is spoiled out there and who isn't. Random Alexandrians are always fodder. You know, we know that. That's been the case all the way through, so you can expect to see that. But in terms of like core survivor, you know, Rick's group, the initial group that came into Alexandria, I don't think we're going to see hardly any deaths from them at all. Maybe none, or maybe like one, if maybe Gabriel or somebody, but probably none. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. But again, all the spoilers out there make it, you know, it changes the game. Rather than doing a predictions based on, you know, a clean slate, you know, you've got some info mixed in there from spoilers that kind of screws it up. So I would recommend, if you don't want to know any of the spoilers, you may not want to check out the comments. You may want to leave, because there may be some people who post stuff, and I can't always delete it that fast, or hide it or remove it if they, you know, post some of the spoilers for the stuff that's out there that characters may be killed off in the mid-season finale. So that's the best I can do for you, John. Sorry, brother, but that's the reality, is that sometimes spoilers do ruin the fun of predicting what's going to happen, because you already know. You already kind of know, right? So I can't really do it in that capacity. Next one's from Ghaster, and this is a related question, so I'll include this one too. He says, "Hey, Trev, you're the real MVP of YouTube. Keep up your amazing work." Well, thanks, Ghaster. Who do you think will be killed off in the rest of the No Way Out arc? If Glenn turns out to be alive, this would mean at least one major person should be killed off. Well, I think he's going to come back, which is a major, you know, again, it's kind of spoiled. We kind of know he has to come back because he's in filming for the rest of the season. So he has to be. And then, you know, it takes away the excitement for whether or not Glenn's going to survive. But for average viewers, they don't know that. So that's pretty big for them. They're going to be surprised that he comes back. So that'll be a big part of that. Then you've got No Way Out event that's also kind of spoiled from the comic book series, which is going to happen in the TV series. We don't know the specifics of how that's going to happen. We don't know, you know, who it's going to be. But I did the video yesterday. We did talk about it, you know, what's going to happen with Carl. Is he going to get shot accidentally? It's a big comic book moment. Next question I'll include is from Andrew Atkins. He says, Q&A, do you think the viewers will freak out if Carl loses an eye? And if so, do you think it will cause more of a frenzy than the whole Glenn death ordeal? Yes, I do. I think it's going to cause more of a frenzy, and I think that's going to be our big mid-season finale event or deal, is when you know, Carl does get shot. It's a comic book moment. Yeah, it's kind of spoilery for us to talk about it, but we've been waiting for it for a long time. We know what's going to happen. If you've read the comic book series, you've read that. It's one of the biggest events in the whole series. Even though he's not dead, you had people, after it happened in the comic books, analyzing the brain, analyzing tissue, and saying whether or not he would survive it. I mean, it was a huge, huge thing, and people got all into it. So for this mid-season finale, I don't think we're going to see any major character deaths from our survivors. I think we're going to see Glenn return, and that happened to Carl, and then, of course, maybe some of the Alexandrians be killed off. If you know the spoilers, then you already know. If you don't, then, you know, stay out of comments so it doesn't get spoiled for you. That's my warning. So, yeah, that's all I can do for you, John, for a Death Predictions video. That's the best that can be done right now because there's info out there. If you guys like the video, you can go ahead and thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, you can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys tonight for the review, predictions for episode, let's see, 7 at this point, because 6 is airing. And, yeah, excited for tonight. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, like it. And that's it for this one. See you guys tonight. As always, it's Trev saying peace.